So there's a kind of pretty wide gap between the service providers, the cloud service providers, and their business models and the traditional IT guys. The cloud service providers are spending money like crazy. They're growing, up and to the right. But the CIO, he or she's got a budget that's flat or down. They're doing more with less. So do they have that IT as a service mentality? Let's start there. What are you seeing?
Well, I think the concept of IT as a service is certainly, we've heard about it for years, right? And as a former ITIL bigot, right, that was kind of the whole goal, was to turn IT into a service provider as opposed to a cost center. I think now what we're seeing is the technology is actually there to be able to realize that vision, but we need to change the thinking within IT, right, to have more of that service provider mentality. A lot of what we see out there is people advising to, well, let's just go ahead and automate everything, right? Let's orchestrate everything. The key is automation and orchestration, and where our customers are having success is when they actually spend the time to talk to the business about what's needed, what services do they actually want to have delivered, and providing those services through some sort of a portal or some kind of an interface where a business person can go request what they want and then have it be provisioned and reported on as a service as opposed to components. That solves the business problem as opposed to trying to solve the IT problem, which we spent a lot of time heads down within IT solving our problems via virtualization, which wasn't really a very compelling message to the business, right? I'm going to take your most important application that's running on hardware that's really underutilized, and I'm going to stick it with 39 other applications on this one little Blade server, and isn't that going to be great for you? Well, that's not a very compelling message. So we have to turn it around to be more about, hey, wouldn't it be great if I could provision this for you so you could test your new application in 4 hours as opposed to 90 days? Well, that's something that the business wants to hear about. So that's what they think of as service. And quite frankly, that's what they think of as cloud, right? It's not so much the technology, the hardware and software that goes behind it. It's that user interface, right? The ability to consume services when they want them, for how long they want them, without having to fill out an Excel spreadsheet, email it to 6 guys asking for permission, and then eventually getting some physical hardware back or something like that.
And is it pay as you go? I mean, is that a requirement of the business and ultimately your customers?
Well, so more of that is being requested, for sure. It's amazing to me how many businesses are still doing project-based accounting as opposed to chargeback, right? So chargeback, I think, is table stakes for cloud and for IT as a service. A lot of businesses just aren't geared that way, and so the pay-as-you-go concept is a difficult one to instill. So more people are definitely talking about it, and more products are out there today to help to facilitate that.
We've written research, and we've estimated that about 15% of IT organizations actually do chargebacks. Is that consistent with your data?
That's very consistent.
Yeah, so you've got 85% of the organizations out there that don't have that IT as a service process in place. So how do they practically adopt IT service management without that? What are some of the steps that they need to take?
Well, the first step is find an ally on the business side, right? Don't try to roll something out for everybody. So either find a line of business that really wants to partner with you. Maybe they're having trouble or whatever, or find a user population that is a noisy one as well, but who's willing to see some value in what it is that you're going to bring to the table. So most often where we're seeing these things get kicked off is either in the development area, right? Because developers always want stuff faster, right? They can never get that next development workstation fast enough, et cetera.
Right.
And VDI is another place, right? Because there's not a ton of legacy infrastructure you're dealing with there. And then the companies that have been successful recently for us, they set up a little corner of the data center. They're building a cloud there. Some of them aren't even tying into the old legacy service management infrastructure, right? They don't want to tie it into OpenView or CA or any of that stuff. So they're building out entirely new tooling from the bottom up to be able to address that problem, to be flexible, et cetera. It allows them to stand up environments very quickly. And then, they focus on that initial friendly customer, right, and build the word of mouth to begin to drive more workloads out of the legacy into the new target architecture.